it's something that allows me a chance to show my creativity.
City, whether it be large or in my sway, so Mr. Smooth.
On the college campus, when we're trying to challenge students to grow and to think, we have to try to create conversations that will allow them to think about the way that they've acted and the way that they will continue to act if they're not immersed in conversations that take them to certain places. That's what the Center for Diversity is about. We try to challenge people about the way that they engage one another and treat one another and see one another. And as long as there's a need to do that, there should be a need for centers like mine. We do it a lot of different ways, with film series and with classes and with speakers that come to campus. We do it subtle ways, like, as I mentioned earlier, the Examining Diversity Through Film course. We connect with students on multiple levels, and those students become more empowered to go out and really change the game.
The advantage of the class Examining Diversity Through Film is it helps you critically engage these issues, to unpack your load, to unpack your bags. And you know, there's always good things and bad things about the whole socialization, because you could have been socialized to behave in a certain way to do your work, but then at the same time you could have been socialized to be racist, things like that. And the advantage of taking diversity through film is now you have a pool of people where you could like discuss these issues, understand them a little better, and then you could, you know, kind of change things on your own, be a revolutionary on your own.
I think I learned to engage and embrace myself as a woman, really. If it wasn't for this, I would have never been so open in my women's studies class, and I wouldn't have ever even thought of women's studies as a major.
Another thing I learned from diversity, going deeper to it, I was good at doing heinous crimes. I was good at, this is a confession a little bit, I was good at robbing people, extorting people. I was feared in my neighborhood, and I never realized that I had more potential and talent existing outside of my life. And then when I came to Plattsburgh, I still had that violent mindset. If anybody touches me, I'll put them to the floor. But then diversity allowed me to see that I'm not a violent person. I'm not an animal. I'm a human being, and that there's more to me than just a typical street thug. Even though it's kind of like a rags to riches story, and that diversity kind of provided me just a little glimpse of my talents. I realized I could write, even though I never went to high school that much. I almost dropped out. I could quickly engage in topics that people don't even want to touch, or people just. I realized I was the most I thought I was the most ignorant person in the world with my violent mindset, and I realized there's more ignorance out there. Basically, CDPR just freed my mind.
For me, being an international student from the Caribbean, it was quite an eye-opener, because originally when I thought of diversity, I mainly thought about diversity in terms of race. And I was kind of thinking, well, I'm from the Caribbean, we have so many different races living together. What could I possibly learn from this class? And the biggest section in class that affected me the most was on sexual orientation. because it caused me to examine my own homophobia and the culture of homophobia that I come from. And it hugely impacted me. It's changed my whole outlook on life.
JW, we wanted to thank you for coming and teaching us about diversity. You'll notice we have a very diverse group here to thank you. Hopefully we'll see you again real soon. The students have really enjoyed your presentation, and there's an awful lot of chatter about diversity in our halls right now. Thank you very much, and as a group we would like to say
Thank you.
The problem is our educational system is flawed. That's the problem. We continue to turn out teachers every year that are clueless about their racism, their sexism, their ableism, their classism, their homophobia. Clueless about it because we have not immersed our children in an educational system or educational process where they are learning about respect of differences.
You know, one of the questions that arise to my mind is how has Mr. J.W. Wiley actually changed the climate campus in terms of diversity, his diversity initiatives. And I would make the argument that he's been a quiet storm, that he's brought his initiatives and just revolutionized some of the programs that were here in place, and constantly is thinking innovatively and creatively to take his work to another level. I would say that to answer that question, whether how his impact has been felt on this campus and how the climate has changed, I use the example of my life, and I think that he changed my climate in terms of the way I thought critically about issues such as social justice and diversity, from his courses in moral problems and his diversity enlightenment, which focuses on not necessarily training, but enlightening people in terms of the possibilities of getting excited about contributing to social change.
The reason why I'm passionate about social justice and the reason why I feel like I have the best job is because I have an opportunity to impart into people's minds and basically the change agents of this world that this is their world. This stopped being my world the day my son was born. And people hear me say this all the time. I really believe this. It's not my world anymore. It's his. And it's my responsibility to prepare him for that world. And I feel like on some level, as a college professor, I have an opportunity to do the same thing with college students, because it's definitely their world more than it is mine. They're the ones who have the ability to affect the future and to really make this place the amazing place it can be, or to contribute to the destruction that's already taken place. So for me, I try early on in the careers of our college students to get in the game with them, starting at orientation. And then I try to sustain their energy all the way through this experience. And by the end of the experience here, on some level, my goal is to have all these students who came in somewhat fractured, some caring, some not caring, but the ones I've had the chance to touch who came in looking for something of significance, there's no more experience rewarding than knowing I've had a chance to touch them as they leave here and they go off into society across the world and touch other people. It'll never come back to me that I was the catalyst that helped affect some of this change, and that's not even important. But one thing I know for sure, coming back to my children, these students on campus now are the mentors, the ones who will be interviewing and hiring my children and children like that. So by me touching them and going home and engaging my children, I know I'm making the world a better place, and that's why I do what I do.